In the recent past, we have seen a proposal to have the youth below the age of 35 removed from CRB. That is basically the Credit Reference Bureau. Guess for what reason? Debt. In our today's topic, we'll be discussing about debt. When you talk about debt, Bill Balance says that when you're in love and when you're in debt, someone has an advantage over you. And it is important for us to ask ourselves, the debts that we are taking, is it good or is it bad? Some people will tell you when you take a loan to buy a plot or to get into an investment is a good idea. That is basically someone's decision, and it depends with so many factors, where they are in life, their ability to pay. But as you look at it in a serious way, you're going to realize that sometimes the only thing that is good about your debt is that people will always remember you. Your landlord will always remind you that you haven't paid rent. Or if you have those debts that are online or digital debts, you'll always find a text in the morning that you haven't paid. So today we are going to demystify and see the types of loans that we have, or even evaluate the kind of loans that you have. Number one, if you have a loan that you have taken that has no security, let's say a bank loan, or someone's money that you've taken, let's say a Shylock, then let's say there are people who will always go ahead and get into their saving society and borrow loans, but these ones have some form of security because you borrow against your savings. Then you go and look at these digital loans that we are having. So when you evaluate all these, you have to know which of these loans are working for you in terms of investment and gaining you a bigger return, or the loans that are working against you. An analysis was conducted that shows that most of these digital loans are basically consumer debt. So someone will take a loan on their phone, first of all because they have been told they can afford 2,000 or 3,000 shillings, but they will use it either to buy consumables. Now, if you're the youth and you're somewhere, and let's say you're having fun somewhere and someone decides to throw you around of whatever you're taking, and it gets to your turn and you don't have money, chances are you'll go to your phone and get that loan. So when you look at digital loans, in a negative way, that's how they're used. But on a positive way, if let's say you're a small business and you every day you need like capital of 3,000 or 4,000 shillings, but then you can pay it back at a higher interest than the usual, at a higher return, you're getting a higher return than what you're getting, than what you're borrowing it for, then basically it is a good loan. However, do we understand the rates of interest that these digital apps charge us? For instance, there was a whole article published, and one of them said, it was a newspaper, one of the top highest charging interest is Okoa Stima, charging at a whooping 40% per annum. Now you think about it. I give you 1,000 bob and I tell you, you pay me the 1,000 plus 400 shillings on top. Now, do you think this is sustainable? Do you think the worst thing that can happen to you when you get into this debt is being listed in CRB? I don't think so. Sometimes when you're going downhill and you're rolling, even stopping is making progress. So today, if you have been listed in CRB, I want to say congratulations because they have helped you stop, because no any other digital app will give you the money. Now, can we look at a practical way of coming out of this debt? Let's go to the board. Now remember, my friends, this may look like a small thing, but remember, debts are like small children. The smaller they are, the more noise they make. So the first step you do is be realistic with yourself and actually say, I am going to list down all my digital loans. Okay? And I'm going to say, I owe, let's say I owe Mshwari, let's say 3,000 shillings. And the due date is 20th. I owe KCB 4,000 shillings, probably due on 10th. I owe Tala Continue listing them down. What are the others we can think about? This Tala, let's say Digital B, and let's say you have up to 6 digital loans, and then get their total. Let's say you owe them about 20,000 shillings. Now this can be scary because most of us feel bad because we've not done anything substantial with this money, basically consumption. But there is hope. Coming out of this becomes a process. And the best thing you can do is align them. You remember here we had put the dates when they are due. The first thing we can do here is change these dates. So assuming your pay is about 30,000, that is salary is about 30,000. And I'm actually talking about a case that someone called me and they were really concerned. They have been paid today. Actually, the time they had been paid was 30th. But then their income was 30,000 shillings. But they actually owed these apps 20,000 shillings. So what did we decide to do? We decided to say, give ourselves a target of 8 months and we are done with this loan. 8 months. Remember, when you're given loans, please remember, taking them. In Swahili they say kukopa, harusi kulipa matanga. When you are basically borrowing the money, it's dowry, I mean it's a whole wedding, but paying them becomes period of mourning. But now in paying the 20,000, it can take you 8 months. So the first thing we do, the first step, we've been paid on 30th. Can we actually say from our 30,000, can we pay the entire 20,000? So on the first month, we have paid 20,000, but now we have changed the due date of the loan to 30th. So we have paid Mshwari, we have paid KCB, we paid Tala, we paid all the others, and now we have changed the repayment date. But still on the same 30th, can we borrow still from the same, instead of now borrowing 20,000, can we borrow slightly less amount of 18,000? And remember how we've come to 18 is basically the things that you know need to be paid that should be below 20,000. So you have paid 18,000 and you have waited for the next month on 30th. So another month goes, but remember now your debt is 18,000. Now you've gone to the second month, you have been paid your normal 30,000, but you've repeated the same process. You have paid 18,000 to the same guys, but now this time you borrow 16 or 15,000. Okay? On the third month, still on 30th, when you're paid, you still paid 30,000. Remember, you're making progress. You're slowly reducing this loan. So this time you borrow about 13,000. Are we reducing the debt? Yes. And now you owe them 13,000. You pay back the 15,000. You borrow 13,000. On the fourth month, you're comfortably paying them because you started the momentum of paying them. You pay them the 13, then you borrow 10,000. So by the time you continue with this for about 3-4 months, it takes about 5 months for you to get excited and clear the entire loan. Now, remember, if you have been listed in CRB already, look at it in a positive way because there's no way you can go and clear all this once. Look at it in a positive way. They have just slowed you down from getting yourself into more debt. Now, after you have finished here, you have finished these debts, ask yourself one question. You realize that after you have been delisted, now that's the time, I don't know where these guys get your number. They start telling you qualify for 10,000, you qualify for 20,000. Remember, you've been recovering from that cancer. The question is, ask them, can you give me a mortgage? Can you give me 300,000? If you're not giving me 300,000 to buy a plot or giving me a mortgage, then delete their apps. Delete their apps, all right? But still, if you're in this process of repaying these loans or you haven't, there's one thing in managing debt and there's one in handling debt. This is managing debt. So how do you handle these guys who keep calling you, you owe them money? Please don't switch off your phone. Keep your phone on, pick it up. Explain to them you have a plan to repay them. And in fact, as you negotiate, ask them, are you willing to reduce the limit that I have? Truth is, they will tell you, we can't reduce the limit. It's a whole process. But they are quick to give you the money as long as they know you can pay. So remember, this is a process that will take time. It takes patience. But the most important thing is understanding how it works and how you can get out of it. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. So this is the Council of Coaches with Coach Amos Ngahu, Financial Coach. See you next time.
Next time on Clean Money Tuesday.
Can we address the mindset of taking a loan? Take for instance, I have savings in my circle, and I have accumulated savings. Now, if I am told I have accumulated so far, let's say 300,000, and I can access a loan of $1 million, I am looking at how much I can accumulate. And most of us don't look at, do I really need to take it as a loan? We should not just take loans because they're available. We should take loans, and we should have had plans way in advance to know actually if we really need to take these loans.
This is Clean Money TV.